Since you mentioned Embiid, so the other question is, because we're kind of looking at the whole scope of everything in the series. Obviously, Embiid, I mean, we go through Embiid. He's going to be our lifeline. If he has a bad game, chances are we might lose those games. But if you were to kind of look at the series outside of Embiid, who's the one player you're looking at that needs to step up in the playoffs or just in the series alone for our squad?
It's obvious. It's James. But I don't think I just think he needs to play the way he's played this season. There'll be times when, yes, he needs to do a little more. The timely shots, the timely playmaking, the timely, three, the timely play, going to the attack in the basket, getting to the line. When it calls for him to take that extra step, he's going to have to do that. Joel's not in the game. Joel's in foul trouble, whatever it may be. Taking that extra step and doing those no back-to-backs. So I feel that he has to play, like I said, the way he's played all season long, and the occasional little extra burst is needed. It's going to be needed to win this series, and I think it's going to be needed to keep advancing.
Who's going to end up being the second? I think in this series, I think Maxey might end up being the second most important player in the series, honestly. I think Brooklyn has guys who can stay in front of James. I think can give him some fits. I don't think they have anyone that can stay in front of Maxey. I think they might try to put Dinwiddie on Harden and then try to have maybe Bridges or someone longer guard Maxey. But they switch everything. So we might just keep trying to do picks until we get the matchup we want and then roll with it. But I think looking at it just without the switching in mind, I think Maxey is one of the toughest guys to guard as far as having someone stay in front of him with that speed. I just don't think they have anyone that really can guard him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about Maxey. I'm not sure what the Sixers are going to do in the playoffs. I had to probably see a game, see how they defend us, how they truly defend us, how they respond, and how they react.
Mm-hmm.
As Maxey he gets a lot of his stuff in transition and downhill. Got to see how if the game is going to slow down or not. See if that pace is going to pick up or slow down. Like if the game slows down, like I believe it will eventually. Are we going to go through Maxey more? That's why I think it's going to come down to probably James, because I believe that the game will slow down a little bit.
I think Nets are definitely going to try to push it. I think Dinwiddie even alluded to that when he talked about it recently.
Yeah, I mean, if from their perspective, you need to push it because of our,
they have to.
Our questionable transition defense at times during the season. And it also pushes Joel.
Yep.
I mean, you ultimately, and I'm just saying, but ultimately the way you want to attack a guy like Joel and James is to make them work on the defensive end. One of the ways to make them work is retreating back in transition defense. So that's something that I expect them to do.
Yeah.
So I would think that the Sixers are expecting that as well.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah. And of all teams that we've played this year, and even in that game, the one game we played against with Bridges, Cam Johnson, and their new guys and Finney Smith, they kind of controlled them for much of that game. We had to come back in that fourth quarter of that game. That was.
Yeah, I feel that we should win this series, but don't mistake. Don't leave a mistake. And I do not think it's going to be easy.
Yeah,
I think that they can do some things that can give us trouble. So
that's a good team. They're just not a great team. That's all.
I think that they can do some things. I just, it's the guy from their team that I think is the key. And we'll see if that comes up in one of our fewer other questions, but we'll see.
Wink, wink.
Do you think? Because we should expect that Boston's probably going to beat Atlanta, and then we should win our series. Is this team a kind of a good team to kind of get us ready for Boston? I mean, they have, athletic, long guys. We're going to have to go against Tatum and Brown types. I mean,
they can, from their length and their ability to go small, but not be very small. Multiple guys that can make baskets, multiple guys that can make baskets off the dribble, a lot of shooting. Like, it's a very similar team. They have a big that wants to block shots and rebounds.
Yep.
They don't have an Al Horford.
No, that's probably all. I was thinking that's
threes, but they have guys that small ball fours that can shoot threes.
Yep.
They just don't have a guy that can shoot threes and guard Joel. That's the one thing that Boston has that the Nets don't have. But yeah, I mean, I think just obviously they don't have guys that are as capable offensively as Tatum and Brown, but I think that they have a lot of guys that can do a lot of scoring, and they have some really good shooters. Like, I don't know how they're going to play all those guys, but they have some shooting. They have other guys that can shoot, that have size, that that are very versatile as far as defensively who they can defend. So if they're shooting well from the three, we could this series could stretch.
Yeah, they're closest team, I'd say, in the East to what Boston is, right? They're just very deep. They have a lot of guys that can all run. They're all very switch heavy. They're very big. So yeah, it's a good warm up before going to Boston for sure.
As long as we win, of course.
Yes,
it's only a warm up if you win.
Yeah.
Wow, we don't win. That question they asked Doc yesterday about major changes coming, that would happen.
Well, he doesn't expect any changes to happen. There should be no changes to happen.
Yeah, but he said going to the championship and losing or something, he said. So that was assuming we go far. He never said, he didn't say if we get beat in the first round, because he knows there will be changes if that happens. He didn't have to.
I think it'll be changes if we lose in the second round.
Big changes, yeah.
Yes. I think so. Yeah.
Man. I don't even want to think about. I don't want to think about changes. Teja, the way
well, you asked the question.
He brought the changes. He brought the changes aspect.
Well, yeah, because you speculate on us losing. I was like, well, if we lose.
I don't want to say stuff. I don't want to predict the future.
You speculating on us playing Boston, but we got to. Yeah, that's why. That's why you just stick with this series right here. We got to worry about Boston.
It could be a warm up for.
It may not be Boston, so
or it could be a warm up for the off season. One or the other.
Yeah.